Hello, everyone. NWE War Reports here with the 13th of April 2023 report on the situation inside of Bakhmut. A couple big developments here. First, I want to start with one that was actually first reported this morning by Defense Politics Asia, Russian troops. And this is likely now paratroopers, by the way, and I'll get to that in a minute. But they have entered into the settlement of Bogdanovka. So how exactly how far they've made it into Bogdanovka, whether it's a couple streets, a couple houses. I don't really know. I'm guessing it would probably be this far northeastern area of the town. So we're just going to go ahead and mark that. Just keep in mind, this is a low level of confidence here in terms of, what actually has been captured. So I guess we could put it in as yellow, and we'll change it, in the next couple of days, depending on what happens if the Ukrainians end up counterattacking, taking their ground back, or if they end up losing more territory. We'll make sure we stay on top of that. The other big update here comes from Syriac Maps, and this is partially, I think, backed up by some video that's just been released of a Russian T-90M tank firing in the streets of Bakhmut. I believe this tank is in this neighborhood here, but there's been a recent report that in the area of the Rose Alley, which is this park with this government building structure at the end of it here, the area beyond that has been captured by the Russians. So we're actually looking at quite a large urbanized, densely urbanized area that is under Russian control now. That looks something like this. So, a very large chunk of territory, just completely full of high-rise buildings. Should have been a good defensive position for the Ukrainian side. There have been some other mill bloggers that have discussed this in a little more detail, or discussed Bakhmut's defense in a little more detail. Military Summary Channel is one of them. He gave some opinions yesterday on the parts of town that Ukraine would be focusing on for the defense, and this was not one of them. So it's curious that then today we get news that this area has fallen into Russian hands. But I believe the video of the Russian T-90 tank comes from somewhere in this area here that you're seeing in the center of the screen. The rooftops look very similar to the shape of the rooftops from the video. I believe this is area. I can't really tell by the colors of any of the buildings in the video. Some of the apartment buildings look to be painted yellow. I don't really see that. I can't really see that. And I could be completely wrong, but I think it's, between Syriac Maps being a very reliable source and this neighborhood looking very familiar in terms of recent footage we've seen, I have a decently high level of confidence in this. And of course, like I said with the Bogdanovka thing, if it turns out being incorrect, we will correct the map. So, but I believe the video of the Russian T-90 tank comes from somewhere in this area here that you're seeing in the center of the screen. The rooftops look very similar to the shape of the rooftops from the video. I believe this is area. I can't really tell by the colors of any of the buildings in the video. Some of the apartment buildings look. Just to give you guys, to end this out and give you an overall view of the picture from a Ukrainian perspective on the defense of Bakhmut. So completely zoomed out here, Ukraine's command and control center for the entire battle, like where the reserves are with ammunition, basically where all the troops flow through, is down here at the bottom in Chasiv Yar. And there's two main supply roads, one that goes through Ivanivsky right here, and then Hromove to the north right here. So these two areas are vital for Ukraine's flanks. They're probably some of the strongest Ukrainian troops are stationed in these areas and on these front lines here. A recent article that came out from a reporter that was let into the Bakhmut area claimed that There are two supply roads that go into Bakhmut. So, whatever we had thought about the usefulness of these roads, there's plenty of evidence that the Huromove road is used on a daily basis. We get videos of Ukrainian troops driving down the road, and we also get videos from Russian drones of destroyed vehicles parked along the entirety of the road. So, it is being used, but it's also being very heavily bombarded, probably by Russian mortars, very close to the front line. And then in the south, Ivanivsky, this road that goes through here, the Ukrainians likely, once they cross over the creek bed or the river that's in the area, they likely turn off and go straight into Bakhmut through the fields. So there are two supply roads going into Bakhmut at the moment. Now, in terms of the flanks, Ukraine is experiencing some issues. You have Russian forces that are not only pushing on Bogdanovka now, but are also trying to push in a direction of Grigorovka. Unsure if there is any success in that. If there is, it's probably limited, but this could also serve to exacerbate the situation for Ukraine on the flanks. Now, zooming in specifically to the city of Bakhmut, because it's been Ukraine's stated goal to hold the town based on these new revelations and this new territory that's fallen into Russian hands. This hasn't gotten any easier either. You have Russians pushing directly from the east in this direction almost constantly, and you have Russians pushing in the south on this area here. Now, Bakhmut, the main zones of defense for the Ukrainian side is the industrial zone that's left along with the high rises along the rail line. This makes this area more defensible than the rest of the terrain around it. You have the high rises and warehouses to the southwest of town. In this circle here, half of which is under Russian control now. And then you have the high rises and forested areas to the northwest of town, over half of which is now under Russian control as well. This leaves the center of town right here. It's definitely the most built up and the densest area of town. It has all the Ukrainian reserves, Ukrainian ammunition, Ukrainian heavy equipment's probably using these vehicles or using these buildings as cover. Command and control, command posts and whatnot, that's all probably stationed in this area here in the center. So, that's basically what Bakhmut's defense is looking right now. Towards the strongest area to me seems like the rail line. Both the north and southern flanks are eroding and unstable. Now, that doesn't mean things couldn't change, and of course, like, some of this information could be wrong. Ukraine could recapture ground, of course, for sure, but at the moment, it is not trending in that direction. All right, guys, that is it for me on this update. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.